Hi there, this is David Hillier here, and I'm going to give you a quick video today, and it's an unusual video because today we're going to look at how you can read the financial pages. It's all tied into my valuation video series, but one thing that is always students ask me is, well, how do you understand all the different information that you get on the different websites, and what are the main websites that you can look up for equities when you're looking at equity data? So we're going to look at three websites today. The first one is the Financial Times, and we're looking at the ft.com website. The second one is Reuters, and the third is Yahoo Finance. Now, there are other websites that we can cover, and if you ask me or write an email, then I'm more than happy to look at other websites and take you through that as well. So we're going to start off by looking at the ft.com, and the page that we're going to look for is Markets Data. If you click on Markets Data, now this is the 3rd of March, and it's at 1 p.m. So this data that we've got is real-time data. And when you look at the ft.com website, there are a number of different sections linking to different parts of the markets. We have, as you see here, we have equities, we have currencies, commodities, bonds, funds, and there's other things with Data Archive, which you can get historical data, which is important if you're doing some historical research. And you have directors' dealings in here. We have some league tables, and then we have companies' announcements. So let's just take you through a whistle-stop tour of different parts of the website. So we're going to begin with equity indices. So let's click on equities here on this part. And you can see here that, first of all, you have the market movers, and we can choose which country we want to look at for the market movers. I'm going to look at United Kingdom. So this is constituents of the FTSE 350, so that's the 350 largest companies, and they're telling you what the best movers are today. And you can see here that we've got the Shawbrook Group PLC, we have WH Smith with the retailer, and we can also look at the losers, and the worst here is Berenson PLC, but we also have WPP, which is a big company, and you can see the volume of trades that have taken place. That's like 4.01 million shares have been traded. If you look at, you find usually on a day-to-day basis that when news comes out, it affects whole industries. So we can see here that we've got some builders, construction, mining companies that haven't done so well. What about the gainers? Well, we've got financial services here. WH Smith is a retailer. So you've got in any one day you can have winners and you can have losers. So it doesn't really matter how the market really moves. It's you can still succeed in that day. And so let's just go down to one company. So let's just choose who will we choose? Let's choose WH Smith PLC. So what does that give us? So we can see here we've clicked on WH Smith, and at the top we have the price, and that's GBX, so that's in pounds. That is £17.40, right? So this is in pence really. So the price of WH Smith is £17.40. It's gone up by 2.47% today. 474,000 shares were traded. It's slightly down on the whole year, and the beta of WH Smith is 0.6446. Now you can look at the company's share price movement over a longer period. I'm using a Mac, so I can just scroll up and down to get different periods, but if you want, you can just click, say, 5 years. It will give us the 5 years share price. So you can see there's been a steady incline in WH Smith, although it did drop between January and maybe about November last year. We can also see some news for the company. Let's look at announcements. There's some data. So we've got transactions and own shares for this company, for WH Smith. So that's where insiders have traded their own shares. That's an area that I do a lot of research in. If you click on here, let's just see what it's telling us. Well, it's saying that the company has purchased in accordance with the authority granted by shareholders, all these following numbers of shares. This is the company actually buying these shares, and this is what you call a buyback. It's buying these shares and then they're going to cancel them so they no longer exist. I cover this a lot in chapter 18 of my book on dividends, but I'll cover that in a future video. But let's, as we say, go through our whistle-stop tour. We can click on charts, and under charts you can do quite a wee bit of technical analysis here. And the technical analysis, I've not carried out or done any videos on this. I'm happy to do so if you want me to, but let's say that you want to do a simple moving average. You can see the moving average on the shares, and that's a 15-day moving average. I believe it says SMA 15 days. Let me just check that. Yep, I think it's 15 days. So you can see there's a smoothed out moving average of the prices, and down here below they've got volume of trading down here. We can do lots of other moving averages. You can choose the different periods in the moving average. There are better websites than this, I have to say, but I'll cover that in another video if you want me to. So here are the technical trading. We can click on the profile of the company. It gives you a little bit of information about the company. It tells you who the peers are. So if you're doing any type of comparative analysis of this company, going to ft.com will tell you who other companies in the same industry as the company you're looking at should be, and that then allows you to really focus down on how you compare the company you're doing the analysis on with other companies. So here you see, well, okay, there's the revenue. So you might say, well, I want to get a company that's got the same revenue as WH Smith, and you'd say, well, the closest one here might be BCA Marketplace, or you might focus on net income or market cap. So market cap, you might say, well, according to ft.com, it might be Sports Direct. I'm not sure that's a good peer. So I would, you've got to be careful. Don't just take something from that one table. Do a little bit more research, which I'll be showing you how to do. We can look at key information in the peers. So let's look at growth rates. And among these peers, it tells you what the growth rates are among the peers. So that's really good in terms of just working out how is this company performing next to its peers. So here you see that WH Smith is the only company that's actually the revenue's grown or fallen in size over that period. But the net income, it's positive, but not as good as some others, but also better than some others. So again, it's all about comparativeness. We can look at the performance in terms of management efficiency, they call that. So here's the return on assets over 5 years. So although the income's gone down, WH Smith has actually given you the highest return on assets over the 5-year period, and return on investment has been excellent. Other things we want to look at, let's look at per share data. Gives you the earnings per share, the book value per share, profitability. There's your profit margins here, and TTM stands for trailing 12 months, which is saying that it's between now and the last 12 months. So that might be different from what you see in the financial accounts. You also get to see who the big shareholders are of WH Smith. So we're still looking at WH Smith, and you see that these are the biggest shareholders, and you'll see that they're just funds that own principally 34% of WH Smith. And we can look at movers, who's bought what, and that's for basically over the last year. Notice that the data changes or stops in the 31st of December 2016. So you can see that there's been a drop in holdings by some institutions and an increase in holdings by others. Directors and dealings. So this is where I do my research, and you can see, right, okay, there's the board. That's how much that they earn in the board. So you see Stephen Clark, the chief exec, earns £1.43 million, has been the chief exec since 2012. you get this, you can notice here, there was an error processing the results. So for some reason the data feed wasn't working. We can go on to look at the financials. Financials gives you data on different parts of the financial statements, and it's got a year-on-year change. So there's not been that much change in revenue for WH Smith, but the net income has grown. So that means that they've become a lot more efficient as an organisation. You can see their cash flow has gone up, their levels of cash has gone up, and you can see that their debt has gone up. So they've been borrowing over the last few years and using that money to restructure their operations. Now I'm just looking at that, and that's the conclusion that I'm coming to. Dividends have been growing, earnings per share has been growing. So this is a company that is performing well. Let's look at the forecast. Now the great thing about FT is that it looks at analysts. So here they've got 17 analysts, and analysts are saying, well, okay, 4 are saying you should buy, 3 you'd probably argue they're saying that you should probably sell. Now that was a year ago, sorry. So 2 are saying that we should sell, 4 are saying you should buy, 5 are saying you should outperform. So this is a positive outlook for WH Smith. There's the share price forecast according to these 13 analysts who have provided the information. So the expectation is the price would go up by 17% at the very highest estimate, but on average the median analysts say that it should go up by about 3.1%. There's a forecast of dividends, and then we can go into historical prices, and these are the historical prices going back. I would probably say that you use, if I was going to download data and you didn't have access to a lot of data or databases, price databases, and I would probably use Yahoo Finance for that. So we're on WH Smith. Notice that we've got the code, it's SMWH for WH Smith. Let's click on Yahoo Finance. So this is us in Yahoo Finance. We want to look up the WH Smith, so let's type WH Smith. What have I done? WH Smith, it did come up there. There we go. WH Smith. Just wait till it loads up. And this is Yahoo Finance, so similar type of information you get with Yahoo Finance. There's the prices, the previous close, so that's yesterday's closing price. This is the price that WH Smith opened at, so let's just compare the prices. 17.42 is the price. We are opened at 17.35, but you can see the price is the same, 17.42. There's the bid price. Now the bid price is the price in the order book where someone is wanting to buy. So you can see here that the bid price is that someone wants to buy 122,500 shares at a price of 17.41, and there's 80,200 shares available to be sold at 17.42, because you're always going to sell higher than you're going to buy. So you can see there's a spread here of 0.01 or 1 pence on this equity. The spread is 17.42 minus 17.41. The range of prices they've gone between 17.35 and £18.10. This is the 52-week range. There's the number of shares that have been traded. That's the average volume. So there's a bit more shares traded today. The market cap is the value of the equity, so 1.292 billion. You see that Yahoo Finance doesn't have a value for the WH Smith beta, whereas FT has a value of 0.6446. That happens. Here's a price earnings ratio, 18.55. The earnings per share, TTM is the trailing 12 months, as I've said. Here's the date where the earnings gets announced, the next earnings. They don't have the data on the dividends or the yields, but FT.com do. The ex-dividend date is the date that you have to hold the shares for you to be able to receive the money from the dividend, and that is the estimate that they think the value of WH Smith will be in 1 year's time. Same type of information. As you can see, you've got recommendations on what you should do. We have analyst price targets, similar to what FT have. You can do it in quarterly or annual. Let's click on the different things. Do you want to have a conversation about WH Smith? Here's someone that's written here 6 months ago, so it's out of date. Some statistics. You're going into a lot more of the data regarding WH Smith. You can see there's quite a lot of information here that's pretty good. The profile of the company, the same thing as what we saw before. Financials, well, there's the income statement. We can get the cash flow statement and the balance sheet as well. So nice information about the company. I don't tend to use the websites for using the annual reports. I like to actually go to the company itself and take the annual report down and look at the actual annual reports printed. Sometimes these figures are adjusted and you don't really know how they're adjusted, so you just got to be careful about that. Options, can't find any data. Holders, so do they have any information? They don't have any information on the major holders. They don't have any information on insider traders or insider roster, so there's not that much there. Historical data, well, there's the prices. And as I was said, if you want to get the prices, just download them. Click on the data. You can choose how far you want to go back. Click on the data to download the data, and then you can do the analysis. I just want to maybe just spend a little bit of time on this adjusted close. During the year, you'll get maybe a dividend, and the dividend, the money goes out, and then the price will drop because your cash has come out of the company. But to avoid any inconsistencies in time series data, you get an adjusted price that accounts for the fact that the dividend was paid. So if you're doing any analysis on returns, use the adjusted closing price, and you can do weekly or monthly data. You can see historical prices. You can look for stock splits where the number of shares in existence have changed from maybe 1 to 2. So for every 1 share, it now becomes 2 shares. You can do those types of things with this. And then you get analyst data. You can see here that there's the number of analysts that Yahoo Finance have got, and then a lot of the data that they think is going to happen to the company. You can also, in this particular case, I think we'll move on from here, and let's now click on Reuters. So I'm going to search for WH Smith again. If I chose the wrong, let's just see. Right, I've chosen the news, not the. So let me go back. Let's see. So we can go into markets, UK markets. Sorry. Markets data. Let's just do a search here for WH Smith. That's market indices. Let's go to markets data. Sorry. There's the markets data. Let's click on the FTSE All Shares because we know WH Smith is part of that. Let's just search here. So WH Smith, search. WH Smith, London Stock Exchange. And now we've got Reuters here. So a lot of the same information. I won't go through this. One of the things I quite like in Reuters is that when you get the company, see if you go to related topics, see this one here, and it always is the last one that appears. Click on that, and you can click on company rankings. So clicking on company rankings gives you rankings for that sector. And so you might want to say, right, okay, we can rank on market capitalisation. Now these are global rankings, so it gives you a much bigger and broader sample. But let's look at stability. Right, let's click on that one. So stability, you get the beta, and you can see how the different companies have different betas. So you can say, well, it might be that I want to compare WH Smith with other companies in that industry, The industry is miscellaneous specialty retailers, and maybe you'll then say, right, well, I'm going to compare WH Smith with Next because they're the same or very similar to them. And those are the companies that you then do the analysis on. So I've gone through a really quick run through of the financial pages. I hope that helps you, and I hope it helps you when you're doing your own analysis, that you can use these websites to collect a lot of information about companies. And I hope that you find that useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.